Let me hold your hand when I say this. We do not move to America because we think it's a better country. We move here because it's a little less worse than our other countries. Because you're stupid to think that we moved to this country for some hot dogs and some baseball. We have better vibes, music, food, culture, history, literally all of the above. We just moved here because we are looking to make more money and offer a better chance for our families. Did you know that the minimum wage a day, not an hour, a day in Mexico is not even 15 American dollars? Not even 15 American dollars. Right now with $15 in San Diego, I could go maybe buy a matcha and half of a granola bar, honey. If you support ICE, you support people getting destroyed. If you support families getting destroyed, I hope you rot in hell. And I will see you there, babes, for sure.
Alrighty, I think I'm gonna take the lead on this one. Let's talk about some facts first and foremost, all right? Let me just start by saying what ICE really means, because a lot of people just think for some crazy reason that ICE agents are just there to deal with immigration, right? And according to most people, ripping families apart. So they're just these evil set of people that's just ripping families apart, and that's totally nonsense. Okay, Immigration and Customs Enforcement of the Department of Homeland Security, which is DHS, has been responsible for enforcing federal laws governing customs, trade, and immigration. ICE was created by the Homeland Security Act of 2002, which was passed after 9/11. Okay. Now, here's the thing. As I just said, ICE is more than so-called dealing with immigration. They deal with custom, they deal with trade, and so on and so forth. So the notion that ICE is just going around and ripping families apart is bullshit. First of all, ICE would have no need to go and take families apart if people would come here legally by filing the necessary paperwork in order to get here. Correct. Second of all, for this lady to blatantly turn on the camera and say that she's here for the benefits of monetary gain, right? Because we have a better economic system. I mean, it's one thing to feel the way you feel because you can't change the perception of how anybody feels. But to blatantly turn on the camera and say what she just said, listen, ma'am, you want to take everybody by the hands, according to her, right? She likes to take people by the hand. How about we take you by the hand and walk your ass back to where you came from, out of the country, with a no return ticket until you learn some decorum and respect. Right. That to me was like, I mean, it was all in your face. Correct. I mean, who does that? I understand. I'm not oblivious, and I understand this is the day and age of turning on the camera and having a lot to say. It's just that sometimes the stuff that comes out of some people's mouth, you got to say to yourself, like, are you nuts? Are you freaking crazy? Or did you fall and bump your head?
How well
Which one is it?
How well did they thought it through?
Right. It's like what every little perceived notion that you have or any little thing that comes to the brain is like, okay, turn on the camera. Let's say something. Yeah. Why don't we just think before we talk? Because at the end of the day, the country that you're or should I say the country that you're talking against is a country that's allowing you to maintain and afford your livelihood while being here and being comfortable enough to voice your opinion, even though it's negative. Correct. Whereas being in Mexico or any other country for that matter, you can't even go against what the prime minister says. Whoever is in charge, it doesn't matter, right? If you say one thing, you don't even have to come out and say that shit on social media, right? Right. In order for you to get banned. If you happen to say something to maybe, let's say, a stranger or even a family member, and they say it to the wrong person, you're going to get a knock at your door. They're going to rip you out of your freaking, off the premises, and they're going to deal with you.
Your bird's nest.
Out your little bird's nest, and they're going to ruffle your feathers. But I don't understand why is it that when people land in America, they become so boisterous. They have a lot to say. And a lot of times it's nothing positive. I understand, America always says land of the free, freedom of speech. Maybe America needs to stop saying freedom of speech because people are taking this shit out of context and just saying a whole lot of shit. shit that makes sense and shit that just don't make sense.
Right.
And dare you to say something against what it is that they're saying. Like, lady, you're not even from here. You know what I'm saying? And then you're talking about illegal immigrants and so on and so forth. Listen, lady, ain't nobody going along with what you're saying unless, you have the same stance as her, obviously, because everybody thinks differently. But you can't sit here and think that you're going to turn on the camera and say that ICE agents are doing this and they're doing that. Once again, they're only doing what they're supposed to be doing because this is a land of laws, whether you like it or you don't.
Right. They're basically doing their jobs. I think we all understand that. She mentioned as far as the minimum wage in Mexico, right?
Oh yeah, being $15.
She said less than $15. So I did some research, and it's actually $13.76 in comparison to minimum wage in New York, which is $16.50. So that's only like a $2.74 difference. Not much, right? But to some people, you think that
No, you're wrong with that one.
Yeah.
She's talking about for the whole day.
Yeah.
It's $15 for the day.
No, she said minimum wage.
She didn't. Minimum wage, $15 a day.
Is that what she said?
Yes, not per hour. If that's the case, why would she want to come over here, right? No, it's $15 a day minimum, max wage, minimum wage, whatever. But nevertheless, it's only $15 a day. So imagine you put in 8 to 10 hours or even more, and all you're gonna get once it's $15. Not transferred, but once you exchange it, right?
Right.
The American exchange, it's only equivalent to $15 for the day.
Right.
So imagine you left your house, you collected a bunch of pesos, and by the time you add it up and you convert it to American money, it's only $15. Whereas in America, you're making per hour.
Per hour.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you could end up with maybe 100 or something, depending on the field that you're in, a good amount of money. So once again, if you're here and you're actually making that money and you're sending it back home, they're going to benefit big time. They're going to live like millionaires because the conversion is so much more.
Right.
So I say this, right? And I say it again. Though you can't change, when it comes to a lot of people, the way of thinking, at least have some decorum and respect for the country that you're benefiting from.
Exactly. It's like biting the hands that feed you.
Right.
You kind of don't want to do that because then you're going to be unfed. So
exactly, and people are going to turn against you. And it's like, even if people want to help you with your cause, they're going to look at you like, why am I even helping this person when they don't even like us?
They don't even like you.
So that's just our take on this whole craziness. But anyway,
so.
We're interested in knowing whether or not if you agree with her, if you agree with us, and what do you think?